Hey guys, what's going on? How is everybody? And stuff set up so I can see. Man, it looks like I'm going bald on camera a little bit. It always does that when my roots are growing out. I have blonde hair. Shh. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. It's okay. You can tell people. I just told everybody. Oh, come back. There we go. Okay, I can see the chat now. Haha. I am super excited about this moon. If you can't tell, I love all things Scorpio, of course. Of course I do. I'm going to get the chart pulled up. And while I'm doing that, yeah. Do you guys want to hear a funny synchronicity while I'm pulling up the chart? So when I was looking at this moon chart, I was like, man, that's like alchemy. Mercury is a little secret magician in all this. And one of the astrologers that I follow, Nicholas Polimenakos. Nicholas, please don't be mad if I mispronounce your last name. I'm terrible with names and pronunciation sometimes. He's at Sparkles of Gold Astrology. I love that he he's one of those astrologers that just like lets it flow when he's interpreting charts and stuff. He just lets his intuition kind of go, and I love that. I love it so much. He's a very mercurial person, and when I saw that this is like that Mercury's got this thing, I was like, oh, because I haven't watched his full moon live stream yet or his full moon video. I don't like to be influenced by what other people think when they're looking at charts and stuff like that. So I kind of tune out all the other astrologers. But the reason I'm bringing him up is because when I posted on Instagram that, that I was doing this live stream tonight, he was the first person that liked it. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I just thought it was a fun little synchronicity. Thank you, universe, for that. Always fun to see. All right, I've almost got it, guys. So this full moon in Scorpio is going to happen May the 12th. Is that Mother's Day? Is there a full moon on Mother's Day on my day? No. I gotta look at my planner real quick. Well, it's the next day. It's Monday around noon, but I'm still going to count it. I'm going to say for Mother's Day, the universe is giving me a full moon in Scorpio. How cool, how cool. Okay, I'm going to settle down. I think Mercury my Mercanus is wound up because of this stuff. What am I looking at here? What is this? Oh, that's the wrong time. That's why. We need to go back 6 hours, and then we need to go back 10 minutes. And we can go up 1 minute, and then 1 more minute. Yeah, I think that's right. Let me see. 12 and 12. Yep. Okay. Time to screen share. I've really been leaning into this crazy square that I have by transit. Pluto's in Aquarius now, and it's squaring my Venus and Pluto. And I'm doing all sorts of techie stuff, and I've been playing with AI a little bit. It's been interesting. The last stream that I did with the new moon, I think it was. No, it was the Libra full moon. It was the full moon last month. I tried some new tech stuff to see if it would help me like to help make things more efficient, I wasn't feeling it too much. I learned some things from it, so it was definitely not a wasted effort. It was an invested effort because I got a return on it. Yeah, that's all we can do, right? That's all the journey can be. It's about learning. Okay, so let's get into this new moon that I'm, or full moon that I'm so, this new moon that I'm, or full moon that I'm so excited about. I feel like there's been a lot of these yod type situations happening astrologically lately. That whole finger of God situation. I think if you're talking about the Hebrew letter, it's pronounced yod. But if you're talking about the astrological aspect, it's called a yod. I don't know if yod is an incorrect way to say it. I want to ask somebody that's Hebrew, that is fluent in Hebrew or knows it well enough to tell me if I'm saying it wrong. But I told you guys, Mercanus is acting up. I'm going to get him in check right now. Okay, so let's slow down. Take a breath. Okay. This full moon in Scorpio is opposing the sun in Taurus, right? Because that's what a full moon is. Remember, that full moon is when the sun and the moon are on opposite sides of each other, and the moon is reflecting the sun's light as fully as it can. I have done a lot of work with this Taurus-Scorpio axis because not only do I have 6 things in Scorpio, 5 planets, and 1 south node. So my north node is in Taurus. And I'm like, what is this energy? Scorpio is intense and suspicious and like always on guard and always analyzing everything and checking things out and like where are the exits in the room, and this person looks like they could do this and this person looks like they could do that, and I need to watch that person over there, and this guy might be okay, but just in case I'm going to keep another eye on him too. And Taurus is like, just relax, chill out, just be comfortable. Taurus is the space where we can be comfortable and stable from like a psychological perspective. The Taurus space is where we self-regulate. It's the goal of self-regulation. When things are crazy and hectic in our life, where do we bring ourselves back to calm down and just relax, let our guard down, and just have everything we need and know that we're okay? What does it mean when the moon is reflecting that sort of light, right? A very good evolutionary astrologer one time told me that the lesson in this is to be comfortable being comfortable. And that like changed the game for me. So when there's a full moon in Scorpio, it's sort of, because the moon is our subconscious. It's sort of like our internal self that we're not always aware of. And Scorpio is just like, this is Scorpio's comfort zone, right? This deep analytical, how deep and dark can I go? Like, what's the root, and what does this mean? And it's all about honesty. At the end of the day, Scorpio does not like dishonesty. That's why Scorpio is so extreme, right? They're either all the way completely loyal to something, or it just doesn't even exist to them. Because they really, really like knowing the truth of something. Let's get down to the root of it. Let's see how far we can go. Let's see, what does this mean? And then what does that mean? And what is the source? And then where did the source even come from? What's the source's source? So the biggest takeaway from this moon is for you to ask yourself, how can I shine a light on what makes me uncomfortable? I think that's the deep thought process that this full moon wants us to do. Now, that doesn't mean to focus on the things that are driving you crazy or making you sad or pissing you off. It means by knowing what you don't like, you can know what you do like. You can know what does make you comfortable. What will take you out of that fight or flight, or I'm never going to make it, like that despair, all of those things. By knowing what those things are, the things that sort of trigger us, we can eliminate them and then say, okay, if this bothers me, what is going to make me feel good? That's a great thing to do, right? So nothing is too dark for the moon in Scorpio. Okay, nothing is too dark and hidden for the moon in Scorpio. So whatever it is, Scorpio moon can handle it. Trust me. I want to bring your attention for just a second on Jupiter and Gemini and Chiron and Aries. I know we talk about Chiron sometimes, not a lot, because Chiron is not like a main character for a lot of astrological talks, or when you're talking about just like astrology forecasts, I guess you could say. Like, Chiron moves very slow, so it's kind of like a background character. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron, think about somebody who has been there, done that, they've gone through it, they healed from it, and now they help other people with it. Like the psychiatrist that had a really rough childhood, or the emergency room surgeon who had their own life saved when they were younger. That's Chiron energy. And Jupiter is the part of us that says yes, sure, without like even really weighing it out or anything like that. Yep, let's go for it. Let's do it. Jupiter is all about, let's see what we can do. What can we potentially create from this? What's the maximum thing that we can achieve? So let me see. We've got Jupiter and Chiron and then the moon. These are the three that I want to focus on right now. Okay. What does Jupiter have to do with this moon? Well, let's look at the sign they're in first, right? We've got Gemini and we've got Scorpio. How does Scorpio energy and Gemini energy get along? How do they work together, right? They really frustrate each other more than they work together. They can work together. This aspect is called a quincunx. It's when planets are like 5 signs apart. So they don't see each other directly, really, right? Because if Scorpio is down here at the bottom and it's looking straight ahead, it's going to see Taurus. And it's going to see Leo over here on its left, and it's going to see Aquarius over there on the right. And those are the ones that it's really focusing on. But because Gemini is kind of like right next to Taurus, it's going to see Taurus more than it's going to see Gemini. So it creates this sort of, oh, I didn't see you there kind of fascination. And then it's like, I feel like you know something that I don't know. That's what Gemini and Scorpio are saying to each other. Gemini is, it's like our perception, right? This is where our perception lives. It's data in, data out kind of thing. If you think about a baby, like, I guess especially a human baby, but any baby really, they're learning how to move in the world. They're learning how to communicate. So you're taking in all this information, all these new sights and sounds, and your brain is putting together all these patterns of meaning and like depth perception, all about how we speak to the world, how we listen to the world or hear the world, because listening and hearing are two different things. How we move in the world, our fine motor skills, all of those things are Gemini. It's a mutable energy. There's a lot of back and forth, right? Scorpio is a fixed energy, and it's not very outgoing. Scorpio likes to just be still and check things out and do a lot of self-reflection. And Gemini is all about, what can I see? What can I find? What questions can I ask? They can work together, though, because there's a fascination there. Remember, it's like, you know something that I don't. So what is that? What is that thing? We see the same aspect with Chiron and the moon, which would be Aries and Scorpio. Scorpio, again, like fixed, suspicious, checking things out. But it's like they're both ruled by Mars, right? And here's the difference. Mars, okay, and Aries is like, I like to think of Aries as the frontier space. It's this new place that you just birthed yourself into, and you're asking, like, is it okay for me to be here? Can I move? Can I be myself? Who's going to come after me? It's about, it's sort of like a battleground in a way, because you're sort of having to assert yourself into the world, right? In Scorpio, the Mars energy is internal. So in Aries, the battle is outside of you. The enemies you're going to face are outside of you. And in Scorpio, it's within you. It is you. What do I need to confront in myself? So Aries is like, you need to look out for this. You need to look out for that. That person said that, and these people over here are doing something you don't like, and we need to go get them. And Scorpio's like, no, I'm not worried about that. Can you just shut up for a minute? I'm trying to focus on me right now. I've got stuff going on internally that needs to be looked at, right? But again, hey, I didn't see you over there. I think you know something that I don't know. What do you know that I don't know? So they want to work together. They just have to figure out how to get along with each other first, right? They have to, because their energies they're like two totally different people. They can work together, though. And here's what that looks like, right? Jupiter and Chiron are in a sextile, and they're very excited to work together. Sextiles are like if you have a coworker that you don't always get to work with, like maybe they work across the building or you work remotely from each other, but you work well together, and now you get to work in the same room. Oh, I'm so excited because I love to work with you, and let's see what we can do. There's this like really, it's almost like, think about when you're very young, like teenagers, and there's a friend that you haven't seen in a while, or there's somebody that you know online, and now you guys get to meet up IRL. Sorry, I've been playing video games with my kid. You get to meet up in real life, so you're excited about this, but because you're both sort of inexperienced and this energy is so wild, like you might get into trouble. You have to be careful. So what do your parents tell you? Go out, have fun, be careful, don't do anything dumb, call me if you need me, pay attention to your surroundings, focus yourself, right? Chiron, this wounded healer in Aries. For me, this very much, it tests your readiness for healing, I feel like. It's like the doctor that was saved by another ER doctor when they were younger, right? Now maybe it's time for them to do their rotations. They've been through college. It's time for them to go out into the field and test themselves. How are they going to handle it? Because they're going to be seeing a lot of the same things that happen to them. You see what I'm saying? Oh, Brandy. Hey, Brandy. Yes, we are going to get out of fight or flight. This is what we're doing. And you've got some Scorpio stuff, Brandy, so this is awesome. Maybe if it's cool, I will message you when I'm done with this, if you're okay with that. So this Chiron and Aries is like, we've been through this ourselves. We've been through this battle. How can we help somebody else go through this battle? Or are we ready to help somebody else go through this battle? Are we ready to face this battle again and not be wounded from it? And Jupiter and Gemini is just like, yeah, let's go. We got this. Come on, let's go. Woo, woo, woo. Whether you're ready for it or not, right? So that's where the kind of wild, crazy energy comes in. But they have something to focus this energy on. If they can get themselves in sync with each other, they can focus all that energy right down here on the moon. And man, Chiron and Aries is saying, hey, we've been through this battle. Let's see if we're ready to face it again. Not because we're being attacked, not because the same thing is going to happen again, but are we ready to be in that space again? How are we going to handle it? And Jupiter's just over here like your cheerleader, right? You got this. Let's see what information we can find. Let's see how we can sort through this. What resources do we need? Jupiter and Gemini is there to help you put everything together and to just find out more information so you can do more healing. It's like your cheerleader and your assistant and everything all rolled into one. So they're going to help Scorpio. They're going to help the moon in Scorpio think about the things and do the things and find out what really bothers me. So your moon knows what doesn't bother you. You know, how can I be comfortable? A couple of questions to ask yourself with Jupiter and Gemini. This is how that can go. Jupiter can either be like data overload. Okay, I know you're trying to help and you're trying to get me all the things that will help me, but you're giving me too much information. So tell Jupiter to calm down if you need to. Or here's the ideal way you want to use it. Can you have self-awareness? Can you see all of these things and be okay with them? You see what I'm saying? You got to find the balance. You want to have the information. You want to have something to work with. And you need somebody to be your cheerleader. You got to be your own cheerleader sometimes, but you got to have a cheerleader. And this is just like the total opposite of that, right? Where you're either, the energy is no longer mutable. It's either you're focused on everybody else or you're focused on yourself. Like, well, there's this about me and this about me and this about me. Or there's this thing that happened and that thing that happened and that thing that happened. You have to have some back and forth between the two. Because remember, Scorpio likes to be real. Scorpio cuts through the bullshit. So Scorpio will tell Jupiter, hey, that information is great, but that's bullshit, okay? I know this person said this and blah, 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 but that's a lie. I know this about myself, or I know this about that situation. It helps you find the lies. And when you find them, you can get rid of them. So you can see the true thing, like what is the heart of the issue type thing. With Chiron, you have to ask yourself, is facing this right now, is trying to be in a situation where I might have to deal with this going to trigger my fight or flight? Am I going to run from it because I'm scared? Or am I going to want to just like fight it because it's threatening me? Or can I assert myself in a healthy way? Can I have the courage to assert myself and handle this? Because I know what I've been through and I got this shit. That's what we get from that. So this is the first god. We actually have two, which is wild, right? So this is how Jupiter and Chiron are helping your moon. All this energy is focused on the moon. You got this. We've been through it. You can do it. Chiron and Jupiter are sort of like working behind the scenes to encourage the moon, making little adjustments here and there, tweaking things so the moon can do the work it needs to do and you can be more comfortable. Okay, cool, great. I see your message. Thank you for joining in, by the way. I'm happy that you're here. So the other crazy aspect that we have is with the moon, which we just talked about. Remember, the moon in Scorpio can handle anything. There is nothing too dark or hidden for this moon to not be able to find. And then we've got the South Node over here in Virgo. The South Node in Virgo, these are the Virgo things that we need to let go of. Let me find my notebook really quick because I have some notes in another place that I want to get to. So wherever the South Node is, this is telling you to pay attention to sort of the shadow things that have to do with this sign. Virgo is very analytical. Virgo is the whole like goal of Virgo is to gain skill and understanding so you can be of service to somebody else with that thing, right? So there's like this instruction sort of trait to Virgo. Virgo listens to the instruction, it learns the things, and then it does the things, and then eventually Virgo teaches somebody else. So you'll see a lot of astrology associations. Like if you Google Virgo, it's going to say they like to be of service to others. They're very detailed. They're perfectionists because they like to get it right. You know, doctors, medical stuff is very Virgo. Teaching, universities, that sort of thing. That's all kind of Virgo stuff that you'll see if you just sort of Google it. What you have to be careful of, because in Virgo you're learning discernment. This is the space where we learn how to discern. We learn how to judge the information we're being given. Is this good information or bad information? Not necessarily good or bad, but is it good for me or bad for me? Is it something I need? Is it something that's going to help me grow? Is it something that's going to help me become more skillful so I can continue on my path and do something with it? What does this look like on the shadow side, right? If Virgo energy goes too far, it becomes criticism, right? You criticize yourself, you judge other people, you get stuck on these petty little details that really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So the South Node in Virgo is saying, hey, all that stuff that really doesn't matter, all the judgmental stuff, get rid of it. All the self-doubt, get rid of it. You want to be discerning with yourself. With this really quick. You want to be discerning with yourself. You don't want to judge yourself. There's a difference, okay? Be nice to yourself. We're talking about self-awareness again here. Can I accept this feedback and look at it a little more objectively? If this were happening to somebody else, how would I react differently? How would I see it then? You see what I'm saying? Because you're changing your perspective. When it's happening to you, it's different. You know, how you feel about yourself and how you judge yourself is totally different than if somebody else was in that same situation. So you want to judge yourself as kindly and gently and honestly as you would somebody else. That's where the discernment comes in. Let me share my screen again. So when we've got the South Node here in Virgo and the Moon in Scorpio, and now they're working together and they're so excited. Ooh, this one is kind of like, I think this is a great combination. I think these guys can get a lot done. I think they can if they focus. Because remember, we don't want to, Scorpio can go so deep, right? You don't want to get lost in analyzing yourself. Scorpio likes to be analytical, and Virgo really likes to be analytical. Virgo is like a data-driven analysis, and Scorpio is like a very psychological analysis. So if you're not careful, you could potentially, like, you have to be careful not to start over analyzing yourself and overthinking it. Where is that thing I wrote down? This is what I wrote down. Scorpio is going to help you give truth to your discernment, and it tells the critical Pharisees to fuck off. I like to use the word Pharisees when I'm talking about South Node Virgo stuff or like shadow Virgo stuff. Because in the Bible, the Pharisees, they were the ones that were like, oh, Jesus, you don't know what you're talking about. You're breaking the law. And doesn't the law say this? And, oh, you did a miracle on Sunday. You must not be the Messiah after all. And they're nitpicking about the law. And they're saying, you're going to go to hell and you're going to go to hell. And Jesus is like, do you even hear yourself? Do you even hear yourself? So, Scorpio, Moon in Scorpio helps you tell your own little Pharisees to fuck off. And that's what we need, right? Sometimes we just have to tell our own judgmental self to fuck off. I'm being too hard on myself. Go away. Nagging little voice in my ear. It's not even that serious. These guys are making another yod to Chiron in Aries, right? So how do Virgo and Aries get along? They don't. They do. They can. Because they're like, again, hey, I didn't even see you over there. Now I do. What's up? I feel like you know something that I don't know, and maybe we can exchange information. And Aries is like, yeah, let's do it right now. Let's go. I got you. Come on. I got something else to do. Are we done yet? Because it's that sort of quick, aggressive, like, on to the next thing. And Virgo's like, whoa, hold on a second. I haven't added and subtracted all the variables and blah, 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 blah. And Aries is like, really? We got to do all this? And Virgo is like, can you just calm down a minute? Can you give me a second? You're just ready to rush off with no plan. And I'm not. I know you're ready to go, but give me a second. I need to think about this, and I need to think about this. And before we can do anything, I need to think about that other thing too. They have to learn to work together, right? Because they each have a good point. They just have to they have to compromise, right? They got to figure it out. Scorpio and Aries, we already talked about that. That's that whole outer inner Mars thing, the battle outside of you versus the battle inside of you. But when Virgo and Scorpio can get together, man, they can really help this Aries energy. So this is why I feel sort of like Chiron is ready to do this thing with Jupiter and the moon. Like, Chiron is ready to say, hey, I was hurt in this way. but I can think about it now. I can face it now. I can do this. Because while Chiron is helping Jupiter, and the two of them are cheering on they're like cheering each other on to help the moon, right? They're working together behind the scenes to help the moon. The moon is also working behind the scenes with the south node to help Chiron. Sorry, I just got some chills for a second. Let me look at my notes really quick. Okay. That's really all I have, I think, actually. On that part, anyways. If you have any questions about any of those things, always feel free to like stop me and I will explain further or, answer your question. So remember in the beginning I said something about Mercury and I was like, what? We haven't really talked about Mercury, right? Except in the beginning. Well, here's where Mercury comes in. Mercury is the natural ruling planet of Gemini. That means Mercury lives in Gemini. That's Mercury's home. Mercury also likes to live in Virgo. That's also Mercury's home, right? And we're working with Virgo and Gemini energies so much with this full moon. We have to take a look at Mercury. We've just got to. Mercury is up here in Taurus, which is that comfortable sign where we find what is called homeostasis. It's where we calm down. It's where we do the self-regulation. Mercury is the messenger. It goes back and forth, back and forth. Mercury is facilitating this whole thing. It's helping all of these guys communicate with each other, and the moon and south node and Jupiter and Chiron. Mercury is channeling the messages and helping you understand. Mercury is amazing because however you need to hear the message, that's how it's going to give it to you. It's like the teacher that teaches the way the child learns instead of trying to force you to learn the way they teach. Whatever it takes to get through to you, whatever you need, that's how Mercury is going to explain it to you. That's how Mercury is going to give it to you. And I really just love that. I do. Mercury is also making this, like the way it's working with the South Node, this particular aspect sort of demands like this higher self level experience. It's almost like this transcendence, right? So Mercury's going to handle that, especially when it comes to your little Pharisees telling you this, that, and the third. Mercury's going to help you quiet them down. Mercury's going to help you be optimistic with Jupiter and Gemini and say, hey, you got this. You can look at this information and you can become more self-aware, and you can be honest with yourself about what bothers you and what doesn't bother you. Mercury's like the magician. He's like the real Wizard of Oz back here behind the curtain. Like nobody's even looking at him because we're focusing on all these other more, like you got to follow the pattern and get back to Mercury in this and see how Mercury is really helping you. So use your perception, use your self-awareness. You are smart and capable, and you are in control of your own life. You got it. You can do it. Now, since this is a full moon, we got to talk about the sun, right? Uranus is very close to the sun. Uranus is also kind of mercurial because it's like an air sign planet. It's like that higher level of like divine spirit understanding sort of thing. You can think of Uranus as your higher self, if you're into that sort of thing. Yeah. So embrace the hotness, Brandy. Sometimes Brandy says that she does not feel in control. One of the things that I have learned, because I've been dealing with a lot of this stuff myself, right? I was born during an eclipse. So eclipses, especially, like whatever the lesson is in the eclipse, I really have to pay attention to that because it's gonna be around me in some way. Like the universe needs me to learn this lesson. I'm ready to learn this lesson. So I'm very critical of myself, and that's sort of some of the things that I've been dealing with. Like, why am I so critical of myself? Why can I not just like be comfortable being me and feel like I'm in control? One of the practices that I've put into play in my own life is really focusing on controlling what I can. So even if it's something small, it doesn't matter, right? It could be like one day, the shelf behind me. One day I was a hot mess, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do a live stream and let everybody see how much of a hot mess I am, because this is what it really looks like sometimes, right? This is what I can focus on today. All the other stuff, I can't focus on that. So I just wanted to like show people that there are times when there is so much that is outside of your control right now, whether you're not in the mental space to do it, you're not in like the physical space to do it, you're tired, you just physically cannot do it, you haven't slept, your brain's all scrambled, people are coming at you left and right, and you just feel like you are in this fight or flight, right? What can I control? What do I have control over right now in my life? I had control over what that shelf looked like. So I decided I'm going to clean this shelf up and I'm going to make it pretty. I'm going to bring a little Taurus energy into this. I'm going to calm myself down and do something that I really enjoy, something that I find pleasure in. I love the way it looks now. I had control over that, so I did that. Psychologically, what this does, I'm not a psychiatrist. I've studied a lot of psychological stuff. And I've spent a lot of time with psychologists and psychiatrists and therapists and all those people. So this is not medical advice, just throwing that out there. But it's something to talk to your own therapist about if you want, or just something to try. What happens when you control this one thing? You realize that you are autonomous, which means I have say-so over my life. I had a say-so over what that shelf looked like. I made those decisions. Nobody else made those decisions. I made those decisions. Whoa. Hang on, sorry. I did not mean to make your eyes go crazy. There are 3 basic psychological needs that we have. That's autonomy, relatedness, and competence, right? Me deciding what that shelf looked like, that was my decision. Nobody made that decision for me. Nobody influenced that decision. I wasn't doing it for anybody else. It was me making that choice. I had total control over it. Competence is when you feel like you're capable. Even if you don't know how, you know how to figure out how. You know how to ask the questions. You know how to find the resources. You know how to get what you need, so you can do the things that you want to do, so you can make your own decisions and go the way that you want to go. And relatedness is feeling like we are part of a social system, whether that's the town you live in, the city you live in, whether that's your workplace, whether that's your household, whether that's an online community, whatever sense of social life you have, that these people see you and you see them, that you're a part of it, right? So if you can find things in your life that you can control, little things, the shelf, right? A lot of like life coaches and therapists will say like making your bed or vacuuming your floor or wiping the counter down, it gives you a sense of achievement that you did for yourself. So it invokes that autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Like, this is me having control over my environment in this way. And all you got to do, your subconscious is this crazy thing, right? Because it doesn't perceive things like our waking mind does. Your subconscious doesn't understand time. It doesn't understand, like, it just knows the signals, right? So that's why, like, when something triggers you, it triggers you because your subconscious is saying, hey, this is like that same thing that happened before. So your subconscious thinks it's in the same situation, even though you're not. It's the same that you can flip it and do it too. So if you give yourself something to be in control over, your subconscious is like, oh, I'm in control. I got it. Got this. We're in control. We're making our own decisions. We're living our life. Trick your brain. Hack your subconscious. What do I have control over right now at this second? What can I influence in my life? What can I choose to do or choose not to do? So you don't have to just do something. You can do nothing because you chose to do nothing. Yesterday, I intentionally chose to not work at all. I made myself do things that were not work, right? And I'm giving myself that psychological feeling of I am in control of my life. I am in control. The more you can get that feeling within yourself, this is where, like, the alchemy part comes in. When you have that within you, it shows up outside of you. Control. But hey, you know what? You have control over your TV right now. You are in control of the TV. You're in control. You choose what's on that screen right now. That's a big deal. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal sometimes. It's like, oh, that's your Pharisee. Tell your Pharisee to shut the fuck up. We're not being critical and judgmental. This is a big deal because I am in control of something, right? Just look at that sentence. I'm in control of the TV. Of the TV is a prepositional phrase, so we don't even really need it in the sentence for it to be a complete sentence. I am in control. Period. End of story. That's all your subconscious needs to get started. There will always be things going on in our life that we have no control over. Sometimes those things are really fucked up. Sometimes they just feel like overwhelming little things. Like they're not like heavy things, but there's so many little things that are demanding your attention. You gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. And it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Find the Taurus space. Uranus and the sun are in conjunction right now. Uranus, when it comes through, it's like, I like to think of it like going to the chiropractor, because it's like there's tension somewhere, and maybe you don't even realize that there's tension here. But when somebody cracks that one spot, you're like, oh my God, that feels so much better. It hurt a little bit. Man, it feels so good now. I didn't realize I was tight right there. That's what Uranus does. Yeah, it's like a lightning strike. Yeah, it's going to come through and probably smash some shit and go on about its business and, cause this revolution or make you have this revelation. But it helps you get back in alignment, So when Uranus is with the sun, it's saying, hey, what really makes you comfortable? I know people have said you should be comfortable with this and this should make you comfortable, and you've got a nice house and you've got a new car and you're in really good shape or whatever. Like, the world gives you all of these outside reasons why you should be comfortable. But again, we've got Scorpio moon cutting through the bullshit, saying, you know what, that's a lie. That doesn't make me comfortable. It's just the way it is. And Uranus is coming through saying, wham, yeah, that didn't make you comfortable. It's like, crap, oh, I was uncomfortable in that place and I really didn't even know it. But now I know it and I'm not going back to that place because I don't want my back to get messed up again. With Uranus opposing the moon, when Uranus and the moon get together, it says, hey, what is it that really makes you comfortable in your inner life? So Uranus is like, what is out of alignment in your outer life, in your inner life? And we've got the moon in Scorpio to say, I know I've kind of been feeling like this should make me feel good, but it really doesn't make me feel good. Or I know that people have told me, and maybe I've been telling myself that this doesn't feel good and that I shouldn't like this. But guess what? I really do. And because Scorpio is that sign of, hold on a second, that sign of like all things taboo and, ooh, you know, kind of occult and, wait, go in there for a second. Well, give me a few minutes. Thank you. The little one. I don't want to say the sex word with him in here, right? Because it's the things, Scorpio is like the things that we don't let other people see. The things that we do in the dark, the things that are that we hide from the world, right? That's what Scorpio is all about. So there's really no limit to what you can like about yourself or what you can not like about yourself as far as what makes you comfortable. Like Scorpio is not going to lie about it. It's not going to be too taboo for you to feel comfortable with this thing. Even if like, let me think of an example with myself. So, okay, I'll just use a religious one. I grew up in a very Christian environment. And they always told me that things like astrology should make me uncomfortable, that I should have these negative feelings about it. And I believed that for a little while, even though I was learning astrology, but I didn't know I was learning astrology. I was learning about mythology and constellations, and those things were okay. But if we use the word astrology, now it becomes something that's of the devil and against the Bible. But it made me feel good. It does make me feel good. I like it. It's like my comfort place. And that's okay. If somebody is saying, you know, you have all these, you have your life together, you should feel good. I told my psychiatrist one time, I have no reason to be depressed or anxious about anything. Like we have what we need. Everything is good. I have good relationships with my family. My family is they get along. Like you couldn't ask for a better home life. And she said, depression doesn't give a fuck. I'm just using those as examples of, you know, telling yourself what makes you comfortable and what should make you comfortable and what should make you uncomfortable. The moon in Scorpio is going to cut through all that. And you're going to be able to sort of be more honest with yourself and to be more comfortable being honest with yourself. That's what I meant by the Taurus Scorpio axis. The whole lesson in that is to be comfortable being comfortable. This is me. This is what makes me comfortable internally and in my environment. And that's okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with what makes me comfortable. And I'm good not having what makes me uncomfortable. I'm good cutting that shit out. Because if there's anything Scorpio is good at, it's cutting through the bullshit. The untruths. That's what I have to say about this full moon in Scorpio. I would love to know your thoughts. I would love to know if you have any questions. If you have anything to add to it, if you disagree with anything I said, please, by all means, let's have a conversation about it. And I would love to see your perspective, because I'm weird like that. Mercanus, again, in Sagittarius in the 6th house. I like seeing other people's perspectives. I like hearing what other people think about things and what they have to say about things. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you. Brandy says she just loves listening to me explain it. Well, I'm glad I can explain it. That's one thing that, that's another skill, another Virgo eclipse thing I've been working through, is trying to be better at explaining things in a way that people can understand them. Sometimes it makes sense to me, but then I'm like, how do I even articulate this? Like when I was looking at this chart, sometimes I look at the charts, right? And I'm like, ooh, this feels like this. How do I get that out? How do I say what this feeling is so other people can understand it and so they can do something with it, so it can be helpful to them in some way. So if you would like to talk more about this stuff, so because when I talk about it for everybody, it's very general, but if you want to know more about how it can be personal for you, like what it means for you specifically, I would love to talk with you about that. Just message me and I'll message you, Brandy, and we can see what we can put together. Yeah, definitely. I would love that too. I like talking about astrology, so never hesitate to call me or message me or schedule a consultation or comment on something that I posted or whatever and talk to me about astrology stuff, because I do love it. I like talking about it. I like talking to other people about it. I talk to myself about it too, but that's okay. Sometimes we gotta talk to ourselves, right? Yeah, that's all I got. I guess I should probably say, check out my Patreon and my Instagram and my YouTube if you haven't already. I've got some other cool stuff coming up this month. I was really excited to see another synchronicity on the calendar when, because I do a Patreon live stream for paid Patreon members, and the topics that I picked coincided with the full moons, or with the full moon and the new moon. And I didn't even realize it until after I posted it. And I was like, that is perfect. So next Friday, we're going to go visit Scorpio's S&M ring. It's not what you think it is. I mean, it is, but it's not. And it's going to be fun. So check that out too. And I will see you guys then. I'm going to go. My kid needs to get in here. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out.